Hi, my name is Jillian Fowler, and my purpose today is to pay tribute to Jane Austen by talking about her life and her many accomplishments. To start, Jane Austen was an author from the 18th century, but she was not the first woman to write a novel. However, she was one of the first authors to suggest that women marry for love rather than for money. She was one of 8 children and grew up in a close-knit family in Steventon, a small village in the United Kingdom. She was primarily educated at home. She was already writing for her friends and her family by the age of 12 years old. She mostly wrote poems and several creative comedies. Jane also only had one best friend, who also just so happened to be her sister. Her name was Cassandra. Because of Cassandra, we know a lot more about Jane Austen, because over 100 letters from Jane to her sister have survived. So, how did Jane Austen become one of the most famous authors for only writing 6 novels? There are tons of women that have written hundreds of books, and we think absolutely nothing of it. Jane Austen just so happened to live in a time period where it was considered improper for a woman to write and publish their work. So Jane Austen made it to where the title page of each of her novels never provided her name. Rather, it referred to 1 or 2 of Jane's previous novels. However, when she died, her last 2 books that were published named her as the author. Since Jane Austen wrote books, she upheld the belief that women should have the same rights and opportunities as men. And in her novels, many women characters were not inferior to men, and women deserved equal rights. Jane Austen successfully wrote 6 entire novels before she died, starting with Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, Mansfield Park, Emma, Northanger Abbey, and Persuasion. Over 30 million copies of Jane Austen's books have been sold worldwide and in over 40 different languages. Can you believe how famous she was for only writing 6 novels? Pride and Prejudice was one of her most famous pieces of work. Jane Austen's books have happy endings with loving marriages, but Jane herself never married. There are all kinds of speculation about romance in her life, particularly because she wrote letters to her sister. However, so little is known because her sister often burned her letters. Who knows, maybe we have her novels because she remained single. Jane Austen's most famous quote was, "The person, be it gentleman or lady, who has not pleasure in a good book must be intolerably stupid." Now that's a good quote. Jane Austen taught us that life is what you make it, and if you want more, make it happen. And just because something isn't accepted of you doesn't mean that you shouldn't do what you love. When starting with small things, they can slowly become bigger things. So, in conclusion, Jane Austen loved to write, even though it wasn't accepted in society. This is probably what helped her be one of the most well-known novelists. Because of women such as Jane Austen, our writing might not be what it is today. I hope that each one of you have enjoyed learning more about Jane Austen and paying tribute to her. Thank you.